Hey guys, what is up? It's Jay. So today we're going to be talking about the face, an anime face. So her face, all the other faces. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Alright, so faces are a little difficult for some people, mostly because a lot of people just tend to do certain things like, here, I'll use a part of this sheet to see if I can, let's go up to the top of it. So a lot of people will just do this. And that's not a good way to start a face. And it's even worse if you start like I used to when I was a kid, and that's with the eyes. So like I used to draw Dragon Ball Z characters and I would start with the eyes for some reason. Don't do that. That's not going to help you at all. So we're going to start today showing you guys pretty much just the basics of drawing a face. So this works for both anime and real life. This is how a lot of real life artists, like people who draw real life, also do faces. So this video is going to be pretty long. Just letting you know that now. You can probably already tell it's going to be long, but it's a tutorial. Tutorials are long. Alright, I have longer videos, right? Anyway, so the three pencils that I'll be using today, they're going to be hard to see anyway because of the glare, but so this one is an HB. An HB pencil is your basic number 2 pencil, like the yellow ones you use in school. That's their HB. They have the letters HB on them. This is your middle ground pencil. So this is like the literal middle ground of dark and light together for thickness and thinness of the graphite and things like that. And then the next one up is 2B, which is the one I normally use for drawing. I don't know why, it's just the one I always use to sketch out things. It's got a good size to it. And then I also use 6B for just if I'm doing a sketch that's going to look like a sketch, and I don't want it to look like a finished line art or anything like that, but I want it to look like it's a sketch. I use a 6B to outline everything, and I'm going to be using that quite a bit today too. So to start off, we're going to be using the HB pencil, and just so you can see that I do use these, and you should use these. But anyway, so to start off, you're going to just basically be drawing a circle, and like literally you just have to draw a circle. It doesn't even have to be a good circle, it just has to be a circle. So that's the good part about that. And I hope I don't make this too big on the page, but yeah, draw a circle, because you know that's the hardest part of this picture, right? Is the circle. So I've pretty much mastered making a circle look really good by drawing faces a lot, because I draw characters a lot. So you can draw a circle, and then a good way to do lines is if you have something that's a straight edge of some kind, a ruler, or if you have one of those triangle rulers where it has a right angle on it. Those are good to use. Those are the best things to use. Or a T-stick, which is a ruler that has like the top piece on it. It looks kind of like the letter T. Those are good too, because then you can set it on top of the paper. You can have your straight lines. But I just kind of guessed, so I'm gonna you just go to the center and kind of make a line going down. Not going to be perfect, it's just going to be what I can do for not having straight edges. And for some reason I don't have them. I mean, I have like, I don't know what these are, CD sleeves here. Like here's my Windows 10 sleeve. So I could do this and make a line going down or something. Like, that would be straight. And make a line going down. So I could do that too. As you can see, my line was pretty straight as it was. So then anyway, we're gonna find out where all of the where the cheeks are gonna go, and the jaw and stuff like that. So that really depends on your character. So if your character has a really long face or a really short face or something, that's really gonna depend on where you put all this stuff. And that's what that's gonna do. So like a chubbier face is probably going to come out more like that, whereas what I call a bleach face, which is character from Bleach is just going to be because that's pretty much what they look like. So they have super elongated faces, and it's really weird. But just a general character, maybe just a general high school character, is going to be roughly in that range. So then you find out where it's going to be on the other side. So I just make a line going this way. Find out about the difference in space here. It's about right there, and then you go up from there. And this is a little high up, so go down a little bit, and man, this gets really difficult. So matching two sides gets really annoying. Be ready for that. Alright. Don't really need that line there anymore. The fact that we can see that it's sort of there is going to help with the mouth, but for now we're not going to worry about that. So for now we're going to make another line that goes straight across right where this meets here. So we want to go straight across there, and then see where these corners meet here? We're going to make a line that connects both of those together. Okay, it should be both of those. There we go. Close enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a guideline. Alright, so basically in here is going to be your work area for eyes. So what I like to do is box off where the eyes could start and end. You don't want the eyes to be too close, but you don't want them to be too far. So like that, and it looks really odd, but it'll look better when you start actually drawing the pieces in there. So basically what you can do is draw the eyes, and all you have to do is really draw eyes however you want to draw them. So everyone draws eyes different, I think. So I personally like to do this here. Let me show you what I do. Hopefully you guys will understand. So I make the one part of the eyelash, the upper part here, and then I do a little bit right around in here, and then I go diagonal a little bit, and then make it a little thicker at the top. It's just how I do it. You don't have to do it that way. It's totally fine. However you want to do it. And then I just make eyes like this. This is just what I do again, so you don't have to do this. You can make your eyes however you think looks good. And then you're just going to try and repeat it on the other side. But I'm going to do this one in full first, and then we're going to speed whatever time lapse the second eye, because that's going to be annoying because it's matching, and I hate matching eyes, like trying to make them match. So I do need to do this a little different. There. So this is how I generically have eyes look on my characters, and like my original character, who is right here. Oh, she's off screen. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. This character, you can see right here. This is how I do this part. This was made in Avatar Maker, an app. So they didn't have the eyes exactly how I like them, but this is the closest they had. So, but this is how I do eyes like that. So I was like, okay, that's close enough. But we're gonna get rid of her. Anyway, so this is basically done on that side. So I'm going to try to replicate it on the other side as best as I can, so bear with me here. Alright, so I think that looks good enough to match. Doesn't have to be perfect, but so what we're going to do is use the 6B pencil, and it needs to be a little bit sharper. One sec while I go sharpen this. Alright, I'm back, and you can probably see it's got a nice sharp point. So there are a couple ways you can do this without using a pencil sharpener. If it's still got quite a bit of lead or graphite or whatever sticking out, you can actually rub it up against the paper. Like, let me use this CD thing again. So you can do it like this and like that, and just rotate it and do it more. That actually will sharpen a pencil very sharp, and it's got a pretty, ow, that actually did hurt a little bit. It's got a pretty pointy end. So now I'm just gonna go back in and darken these so that they don't erase. Alright, so that's nice and dark, and then let's erase the lines around it. So we're going to take our eraser and make it have like some kind of point to it, and then just erase around it. But this way, at least, when you erase around it, you might accidentally hit the drawing itself that you want to keep. So this will stop it from erasing, or at least completely erasing, what you already did. And then if anything, you can just go back and go over it again. So like right here, there. Alright, so now there are a couple things in the eyes that I want to talk about, and that's highlights. So you're obviously going to have highlights in the eyes of your character. If you don't, then they look dead. Like, they look like dead eyes, or like zombie eyes, like someone's been taken over or something. You might have seen it in a few other anime. So I'm gonna go with my light pencil because we don't want to make too big of dark lines for this. I'm gonna put 2 in. So the light source is coming from this way, going this way. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, or as same as possible anyway. I know they don't really look the same as it is. The eyes are a little bit different sized, I noticed. I will fix that. I did not notice that at first. That happens sometimes. And it's better to work. Alright, we'll re-put that in there. And then now that we have those in, we can put in the center of the eyes, which I can't remember the name. Was it retina? Is that what that's called? But you can darken that in. And this is just, I'm just darkening it in so that you guys can see the differences. It's going to look darker when you're done anyway, because you're going to probably use a black or a very, very dark color for this part here. There we go. And then what you're going to do is, I don't have my 4B with me, so I'm going to use my 2B, but you would make some shading on the eyes there, just like that, and then the rest of it would be the color of the eye. And then the shading I would do in different colors that go with the eye. So like if they have blue eyes, I would start making it darker blue as you go up, and not black or gray, because it won't look as nice. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. So now that we have the eyes done, we're going to move on to the eyebrows, which are also something that people make mistakes on a lot. So one thing I did notice is a lot of people don't put the creases for the eyelids. So they do that. So do just like this. I don't know how else to explain it other than they're just like lines that are above the eyes. And then usually there'll be another one that's going down like so. Usually they're both a little bit different to create contrast, and it looks really cool sometimes. Just don't make them too drastically different. Like this line is bigger than this line, but only just very slightly, and it's just very makes you look both ways at it, so you see the whole face. It's just one of those type of things, I guess. So one thing you don't want to do with eyebrows is you don't want to make them go over the eye. A lot of people seem to do that when they're making a mad character, is they put the eyebrow over the eye, and it looks really bad, and I don't want to say it to them, but it does. Eyebrows don't do that at a straight on angle. If the face was facing more down this way, yes, then you would obviously do that, but then the eyes would not be as big, things like that. It's not a straight on face then at that point. So let's make a character that looks kind of mad, because I like doing that. So this is around the area you want your eyebrows, if they're going to be mad. And looking straight on, that is. So do that. I like to make the eyebrows of my characters a little bit thicker than just rather a line, because a lot of anime uses just a straight line, and I don't like that. It looks kind of bad. So from here, what I would do is figure out exactly how far that is and go about the same, and that looks like it's still a little, no, maybe it's the same. Okay. Then we're gonna just got to figure out where it matches. That's about right. And then now you got to try to make it look the same. This is a struggle. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it will work for me, actually. It'll work for now. As long as you guys understand what I'm getting at, that's really the point. Which I think you guys understand. Alright, so another thing with someone who has their eyebrows down like this, they're gonna have that like wrinkle in their skin, so you can just put like little wrinkles there. So if you see, I don't know if my hand was in the way, but right there, you can see right there and right there, little wrinkles. On female characters, it looks better if you don't have too many. Male characters, it looks super dramatic, like they're really pissed off. But in female characters, it just doesn't look as good, especially with the eye shapes. So now we're going to move down to the nose, and you can still see right here, this is where the, I just made a dot there. That could be a nose too. That's just as normal as anything else, I guess. The noses will start around this general area. So even that would work for a nose in most anime. But I like to give them something a little more prominent. So I just do one of these little shapes, and it looks fine to me. And then from here, you can actually adjust the chin if you really want. If you think you made it too low, or if you made the cheeks too low or something, depending on how your face's shape is going to look, you can adjust it here, and because now you know where all the facial features are going to go. So now we're going to make the mouth, and I'm going to make her kind of grinning. That's funny. So she has one of these kind of looks to her. I don't know, the dimple looks kind of stupid. I'm not going to keep that in there. You can if you want, but on mine it just didn't look as good as I thought it was going to. So, and then you put a little chin there. and that's like the divot for under. I don't know what it would be called, but it's like where the chin is, I guess. But that's the basics of the face, and everything looks like it's in just the right spot. So I'm not going to move the chin or anything, or the cheeks, but you can, again, if you want, depending on your style. If you're doing chibi, I would not put the nose in, and I'd put the mouth higher and make this a lot shorter. Also, you'd make a tiny body, but we're not getting to that. So then when you put the neck in, figure out where the mouth is. So the mouth, about there. So if you saw where I was a little outside the mouth, and the mouth is crooked over to this side a little bit on purpose. So you would add a little bit of room on this side, so it would be like that. So you can see on this side there's a lot more room between the edge of the neck and where the mouth is positioned. That's because the mouth is moved over a little bit, so we just this is where the mouth would be if it was straight. So then you just put the neck down, and the neck is obviously, again, dependent on your style of what you're doing. You can make like clamp characters who have super long necks, but they're all weird looking anyway, or you know, any number of things, and they could be skinnier necks, it could be thicker, it could be whatever you are doing. So let's actually darken the face a little bit. I just whistled when I spoke. That was weird. That never happens. Alright, so we're gonna darken that. That way it won't get erased. And then we're gonna lightly erase around here. This is just what I do. I lightly erase that. You can remember that line. I lightly erase that so that you can still see that it's there. But oh, wrong one. That's God, this eye looks just retarded. So I'm gonna add a little bit of an ear, mostly because the hairstyle that I'm gonna do, you're gonna see a little bit of the ear. And actually, I should raise this up a little more. So, a little bit of that ear in there. Alright, so now we're going to draw the hair. So, I already know where a hairline would be, but you guys might not. So, you just, wherever you think hair is going to be, you just draw in a hairline. So, I had this idea earlier for a hairline, or for a hairstyle, sorry. And I really liked it, so I'm going to try and replicate it. So I'm parting off to the side, so we're going to keep this, we're going to show that's where the part is. And here's where the head is, so the hair is going to be a little bit above the head. So this was really odd. Let's see if I can do it again. I think that's a little too far over, but that's basically what the hairstyle did. And then so what I did was I made it one of those bob type haircuts. I don't know what else I would call it, but that works for me. So it's going to come from about here, and then about the same on this side, and then it kind of curls inward a little bit. And then, so, oh, now we can darken the rest of this part of the face, because now we know that that's going to be in the picture. So now we're just going to draw what the hair is going to look like. So we're going to draw a basic shape of the hair. So I'm going to do like this. Yeah, this actually works. This is exactly almost how the other one went. So this is her hair. So this is a lone strand type thing. It's not connected. So if you have like a background or something, part of the background will show up in here. So just so you know, on this specific one. Having a lone strand like that, I don't know why people do it. I don't know why I do it, but it just gives it kind of that look. It just looks really good. Then you just draw the hair behind. It almost looks like it could be a character from like Pokemon or something, like one of the bad guys or something. I don't know. So now we can erase this part line because you don't actually need it. In this specific style, you don't anyway. This I might actually make a little more dramatic, and yeah, like that. So now that whole piece does that, and I might do that on this side, but just very slightly. So now we can start adding the bangs, and the bangs can be however you want, but I'm gonna make them a little Pokemon-esque, because that's what it kind of looks like. This is a really cool looking character. I really like this. This might be a new Pokemon trainer I made. Alright, making up characters as I do some art tutorials. Look at that. So, if you guys want to name her, go ahead. I don't mind. You can pick the colors and stuff for her too, and I might color it in. Or make like a character sheet. If you guys would like to see that, I might be able to do that too. Alright, so, and then we're going to go here. There. That doesn't look too bad. And then we're going to finish off this side of the hair. Alright, and as you can see, I actually changed the way this looks here, and then I added just this little area so you can see that there's a part there, and then when you go along you can actually add like strands and things like that in it, make it look more like hair. For a Pokemon style, which this is what this kind of almost looks like, I might actually make this have more Pokemon style eyes, like the eyes that the Pokemon characters have. I might change that up on this. Maybe a little more Pokemon looking of a face, like they have a really obvious style. So anyway, I might do that later on. But so you're gonna add all these lines here to indicate hair. You know, whatever. You don't need to do these, but they certainly help. So there. And basically, oh, and then you can do it back here too, and then just darken it a little bit. That's fine, whatever. And then for the final step I want to talk about is shading, and I don't have my shading tools because I lost them, because I'm a genius and I lose things easily. So I'm going to darken this mouth. But when you shade a character, you have to pay close attention to where your light source is coming from. So my light source is coming from over here going this way. So like that, obviously, because that's why these highlights are there. So you're going to have to make shading is both highlights and shadow. So there's obviously going to be some shadow right there. There's going to be shadow here, here, you know, from where the hair is in front. So now let me get I'm gonna have to get something out here. I have more pencils. Come on. Maybe I don't. I don't have any of my H pencils. Nope, I don't. Never mind. I thought I had my H pencils, but I don't. So let's just use the HB pencil, and I'll just use it this way like this. So pretty much there's going to be shading like... Oh, that's not working either. Gonna be shading on this side. Man, that looks bad. So here we smudge shading, which is also awesome and fun to do. So it's gonna be shading there, as well as some slight shading here, and then the hair is going to just have a shit ton of shades. So I'm just gonna pretty much coloring in the hair with smudge shading. So that's not the best way to shade. I would suggest against it. It gets you dirty, but whatever. And then if you want to do it that way, then you can just take an eraser and if you actually make your lines super dark, so let's actually darken all of these lines. Alright, so now that the lines are dark, and you guys might also notice I fixed the eye. It was really bugging me. Alright, so we can actually do more of this here, because it will be kind of needed probably. So let's actually darken this a little bit. So we're going to pretend this is like color or something. That's what you're essentially going for with the smudge shading, is you're doing black and white, and this is in place of what would be a color when you do black and white. So instead of like maybe red hair or blue hair or brown hair would probably be darker, but instead of those colors or something, or even like this would work well for like green hair or something like that. So instead of those colors, you have to use a gray shade, because a black would obviously not look good, because that would obviously be trying to mimic black. So you don't want to make your character's hair black if their hair isn't black. So that works for this. And then basically what you're going to do is you're going to go in and take your eraser and do something like that. You might want to make it look a little more in the right area, I guess. So let's start over here. So we might do like this. Really soft over here. And then it's going to be really strong over here, really big. So and try to keep your hand straight when you're doing that. So that's another way to add highlights to your character, and you can see that I didn't darken it too much down here either. I like the way that looks. You can darken that if you want by smudge shading. Basically you just smudge harder down there like you are up here, and then it'll obviously go out of the lines, and you just erase outside the lines where it went out. But that's basically that. And then so while I'm here, I might as well talk about the neck. So we already talked about how to put the neck into place, and then you put the whatever that muscle is. I don't know what that's called. Let's put part of a shirt on this character, or top of some sort. You can do let's see, let's get a good pencil here. Some female characters, you will see the neck muscle a little bit, and the collarbone divot. I don't know what that's called. This is just that area of the collarbone where the bone is here, and then there's that little piece there that it's in. You can feel it on yourself. So sometimes you can see that stuff, but I usually don't draw it. You can lightly indicate like this that there are muscles there, and then use a shading tool of some kind. Usually the shading tools, they look like rolled up paper to a point, and literally to a point. It looks like a pencil made out of paper. And then you just shade and make it look nice. And that's pretty much how you're going to do that. And then for the neck shading, which is the last part, the under the face and stuff, you'll see a lot of people will just do this. That doesn't look good. You know, well, I mean, they're not just gonna scribble, but they're gonna color in just like that. It doesn't look natural with the rest of the picture. Most of the time, the picture doesn't look natural. So you got, oh yeah, this shading too. You're gonna shade here, and then on the nose you're gonna shade things like that. Just if you look at a person or you look at any other anime character, you'll see how shading looks, and you'll start understanding a lot more of, you know, how shading works in general. And just look outside, you'll see how shading works in general. So with the light source over here coming this way, obviously that means that this part of the face is going to be casting a shadow over here. So you're going to have this sort of darker shadowiness over here, and obviously this hair behind here is going to be super dark because that's inside. I just didn't bother with that. That was an obvious one, I think. So, and then this hair is actually going to be casting this shadow here, which it should be also casting a shadow on the neck. So you might get this shadow here from that. So that's a possibility. Shading is something that will make your picture stand out a lot more, and I really wish people would learn to shade correctly. I mean, there's a lot of people that can, a lot of people shade really well, but I wish people would learn to shade a little better. And then you saw what I just did there. This is the darker area. This is always prominent in anime a lot, where you can see where the actual face is casting a shadow, the darkest shadow, and then it goes into a lighter shadow. It's just something that is normally done on anime art, but I don't know. And you know what's even funnier is, I don't want to do this too bright, but there's an actual light source coming from the same direction as I was saying. So literally this character is in the light source of where my actual light source is coming from. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, but that's it for this. So let me sign this and let's get this on the way. It's not but my name. I almost did this earlier and almost signed my real name like an idiot. And yeah, my signature changes a lot. I don't know why. Sometimes I put the dash in there, sometimes I don't, and it makes it look like a T there, and I don't like that, so I might not do that anymore. Anyway, but that is it for this. Hopefully this helps you guys out. I know that I could have used this kind of tutorial when I was growing up, and I'm really glad that I can put these out for you guys. Hopefully I can continue this and whatever works, you know. I will be getting digital art stuff soon. My last tablet broke, so I don't have one anymore, so I'm getting a new one for Christmas. So I'll be back up on that shortly, so I'll be starting to do things on here with that shortly, hopefully. Some speed painting and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, but that's it for this. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.